Woman Under the Influence is a 1974 film by John Cassavetes that stars Gena Rowlands and Peter Falk. Influence was written on the request of Cassavetes' wife, Rowlands, who wished to play a character who revealed the struggles of a contemporary woman. Originally intended as a play, A Woman Under the Influence examines the newly emerging ideas on marriage, family life, and mental health that were gaining popularity in the 1970s. A Woman Under the Influence follows the downward spiral of one American family. In the film, Mabel and Nick Longetti, played by Rowlands and Falk respectively, share a happy, loving marriage and 3 children. However, Nick becomes concerned with Mabel's increasingly erratic behavior and is forced to commit her to a mental institution. For the duration of her stay, Nick is tasked with parenting their children alone, a job at which he is not particularly adept. When Mabel returns 6 months later, she finds it difficult to readjust to society and a breakdown ensues. The cinematography of Influence compounds the emotion of the film. In true 70s style, this film uses intense close-ups to convey the fear, mania, and desperation experienced by the characters. Influence was also shot in a way often associated with documentaries, though lacking the jumpiness and bounciness associated with such films. Although Influence is not a pseudo-documentary, it offers a similarly unflinching, intrusive look into the story it tells. The 1970s essentially saw the runoff of major rights movements of the 1960s. Although Influence does not overtly express the views of such movements, the shifting ideas of morality and lifestyle indirectly had an impact on the film. The film greatly plays into the ideas expressed in Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, published a decade earlier in 1964. In this book, Friedan speaks of The Problem That Has No Name, a title applied to many women's discontent as housewives. Influence applies this problem to a family with a name, making it applicable to everyday audiences. Additionally, Influence addresses newly emerging ideas of mental health. Prior to the 1970s, mental health was not largely discussed. Influence brings these issues to light, not portraying a specific illness, but nonetheless bringing the topic to discussion. Although not explicitly morally based, the world of Influence seems to set its own moral constrictions. These morals also reflect the changing social landscape of 1970s America. Mabel's illness, instead of being portrayed as destructive in itself, is shown to be harmful to family life and her relationship with Nick when left untreated or treated poorly. The lack of vilification of mental illness signals a moral shift in American society. Cassavetes at first found it difficult to sell Influence. As he put it, no one wants to see a crazy middle-aged dame. However, Peter Falk, who plays Nick in the film, was so inspired that he agreed to fund the project. After its release, Influence was seen as an incredibly dark, unique picture. It was so moving, in fact, that Richard Dreyfuss famously said that, upon seeing the film, he vomited. One of the first major films to be independently marketed, Influence became an unprecedented success, earning 2 Oscar and 4 Golden Globe nominations. Although originally vetoed by several major studios, A Woman Under the Influence became an enduring commercial and emotional success. By delving into issues that were not only relevant, but also seldom addressed, Influence earned its place as a landmark film of the 1970s.